I'm Tom Chapman from England, founder of the Lions Barber Collective, barber and men's hairstylist. I actually started off as a hairdresser back in the UK working for Tony and Guy, and then I had a passion for men's hair and I just developed that myself and self-educated through being involved in more like alternative music, so alternative haircuts like mohawks and psychobilly quiffs and things like that. So I needed a pair of clippers to do that, and at Tony and Guy you're only taught scissor over comb, which is great because it's a great discipline and I have good scissor control because of that. But to do things like skin fades and all of that, you need to have a pair of clippers. So I bought a pair of clippers and never looked back really. But everything within barbering has been self-taught, and I've been on courses, different day courses with educators, watching videos online, learning from friends and my peers within the industry. Now that I'm sort of more established within men's hairstyling and barbering, I've got a lot of great peers that I can learn from. Many of them are part of what we do as well, so barbering community. And I just got my hair cut by my brother Lawrence Foe, and he's a real big inspiration for me because of everything he's been through and the skill he's got and the dedication and his passion for barbering. For new barbers, I think the best advice you could give them was just there's something I read that said what you do off the job determines how far you go on the job. So it's not just about being behind the chair, it's about how much you put into it outside of that barbershop as well. So educating yourself is so easy nowadays because of videos on YouTube and things like that. You can go away and you can actually check stuff out and learn new techniques. And like I said, what you do off the job determines how far you go off the job. You talk to athletes, for example, it's how hard they train determines how successful they are. So it's the same in any walk of life, and if you do that in barbering and put yourself into it and really invest in yourself, then you will push boundaries. I think the hardest thing originally was because I was a hairstylist or a hairdresser. Going into the barbering world was something that I was worried about personally myself, feeling like a bit of an imposter. And it was something I worried and struggled with myself, but in reality it wasn't that much of a problem from other people's point of view. So I wouldn't say it was a big struggle within barbering itself. It was more like my sort of personal struggle, thinking as a hairdresser, will I be accepted into this world? But there's a lot of barber love out there, and I've been sort of accepted with open arms, which is lovely. I was invited to do a couple of shows, like Great British Barber Bash, and I entered a lot of competitions. I like doing photo shoots and getting out there, and I think having that first photo shoot published in Modern Barber magazine was a real big stepping stone, and once that happened, and then getting on into the finals of World British Barber of the Year, doing haircuts on stage, and it kind of gave me a little bit more confidence in myself, I was cementing myself in the barbering industry. The biggest business mistake I'd say I made personally was not taking my own business on sooner. I was working for somebody else. I was self-employed in their shop, and I was kind of left to run it by myself, but I wasn't given any sort of control at the same time, and I probably should have left that a lot longer, and it sort of put a real downer on the industry for me and my career, and for something that I absolutely love doing, it was a bit of a drag going into work every day, no appreciation, and I finally sort of decided to do my own business, and I learnt a lot what not to do from previous experiences. And since opening my own place, I'm able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, work with the products I want, work with the people I want, do photo shoots, competitions, hair shows, and I think I learnt from that in a previous career somewhere, a different shop. Most prized possession, my family. Does that count?
Totally.
Yeah. Definitely, it's all for them. Everything you do, it's just driving force, isn't it, to push you forward. And all the shows and all that sort of stuff, trying to get the recognition is to help supply security for my family. I'm quite sort of open person, I suppose. People with like Facebook and things like that, people see what I'm doing all the time, you know, anyway. I don't know, maybe that I suffer with anxiety quite bad when it comes to things like interviews and like stage work and stuff like that. I've learned to cope with it to a certain extent, but I suppose that would be one of those things. People do ask me about stage work and how do you do it and do you get nervous, and they are quite often surprised, I suppose, when I say that I do have anxiety about it and work things up in my head, worrying about what could go wrong, like, you know, say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing or drop something. But, you know, I think everyone has that to a certain extent, you know, but I think you've just got to try and fight it and push through it, and if you don't try those things, you'll regret not doing them. So, yeah. I was really serious about the industry. I was also in bands as well, so I was a vocalist for quite a heavy metal band, so that was my dream when I was younger, to become a rock star and be on stage and all of that. So that was probably where I would have liked to have been. Biggest achievement for me in life would be to create a legacy, something that will go on after I'm gone, you know. With the Lions Barber Collective, we're trying to do some stuff like that which will help people forever, you know. And I believe that education is really important, and if we can help educate the future of the industry, especially the younger guys, because they're the future, they're 100% the future, you know. So if we can mould the industry and make it better, then that's my goal. I just want to thank you, Master Barber, for giving me the time to interview me.